deflected, scores! Letang! Could you script it any better than this?
Pitch it to Najee Harris. Harris sidesteps, gets to the sideline. Najee Harris dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Steelers!
I don't think I expected anything less.
That's unbelievable. It is absolutely incredible.
Welcome to our live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio right here in the Municipal Building. Yes, we're at 5100 West Library Avenue, Bethel Park, PA 15102. Police are right across the hall. You know who they're watching for here. The first one to laugh, that's it. We got it. No, thank you for watching our show on Facebook. We appreciate it. We're live here, and I'll announce the people out there. I was talking to Johnny Mariano, and he said people like to hear their name. Ann Harder, Jane Leffler. Looking forward to tonight's show. Missed last week's. We missed you too, Jane. Johnny's watching. Frank Manna's watching. Thank you. Teresa Mariano. Got the Marianos here. Yeah, Johnny's for sure watching us. He was in the studio early, dropped Michael off, who's in the control room. Marco Rody's there. Hey, that's everybody there. Oh, we got somebody's mother from Rochester just started watching.
I might know who that is.
We'll guess a little bit later. Thank you for watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. We got up to $3.99 again. We went down to $3.98, so somebody listened to me. I said, I'm watching. So we're almost back up to 400. We appreciate you on YouTube. We don't really get to interact because I'll be 69 years old, and I'll be honest, I'm like a grandfather. I can get one screen up, but if I got to get YouTube and Facebook up, forget about it. It ain't going to happen. But we got lots of sports and stuff to talk about. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got no communication with our camera people, so I'm going to Smokin' Jim Frazier. Then I'm going to, I'll pause so we can get this, Michael Mariano. Then if we have a wide shot, I'm trying to direct. And then Johnny goes, my dad, Mike Mariano, turned 90 a few days ago.
That's right, he did.
He looked good drinking a beer. He's resurrected. He's like Lazarus. He's going to go out and do the garden.
2 beers at Pasta.
Well, I only saw the one that he was holding. It was bigger than his head. No, he looked great. And we appreciate all of you. And we have promos. So we're going to have the promos on in 10 seconds. Please watch them all.
My name is Nicholas Callis, and this is the Bethel Park Minute. No Cook Tuesdays continue this week at the Bethel Park Community Center from 4 to 7 p.m. in the playground parking lot. Check Bethel Park Recreation socials for a list of their weekly food trucks. The Bethel Park Job Fair is coming up this Saturday at the Community Center from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Along with over 600 available positions from area businesses, Bethel Park Recreation will be there hiring summer camp counselors. They're looking for boys and girls ages 16 and older. The pay is $13.50 per hour. You can go to the Bethel Park website, bethelparkpa.gov, and go to the careers page to apply. Tickets for a bingo night supporting the Bethel Park Recreation Department are now on sale at the Community Center. The event will be on Friday, May 9th, with the doors opening at 5:30 and the first bingo game beginning at 6 o'clock. Tickets are $20 in advance and $25 at the door. The Community Center gym and walking track remain closed this week for floor resurfacing. My name is Nicholas Callis, and this has been the Bethel Park Minute.
Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900 Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Thank you, Michael. Hey, thanks for watching those promos. We got a couple events coming up, so try to check them out, helping veterans and helping rescue dogs and everything else. And happy Earth Day. Peace to all. Love everybody. Had to get that out from the hippie days. It's a great day. Let's see who we got. Tony from Chick-fil-A. When will Smokin' Jim bring back his top 10 again? What category? Dave Scheller's watching. Our friend Delisha Small tuned in. Smokin' Jim.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in years, Delisha. Are you still cooking? All right. We got to go to Smokin' Jim Frazier right now. What's on your mind? Smokin' Jim Frazier with a White Sox free hat.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There you go.
you got to see Levine. I tell you what, Al Levine, the
Thank
talking
you.
machine. This is the greatest week in sports, in my opinion. The NFL draft brings everybody together. Only thing greater than that is Ovechkin scoring in overtime. Al Levine, the talking. He's so young. I think he can get 1,000 points. Al Levine, the talking. Did you tune in?
When did he play?
Ovi.
Smokin',
Last
when
night.
did he play?
Last night, Al Levine,
channel
the
was
talking.
it on?
You should have seen that he make that puck jump. The goalie had it blocked, but he made it jump.
Hold it.
Right over.
Was he shooting from the right side of the goaltender?
No, actually, he was more in the middle, like.
That might have. Well, your vision since cataract surgery got improved by 10%. So right could be middle.
And L. Levine, the talking
I'm happy
machine,
that you're happy.
I always admit when I'm wrong. I'm not ready
Never.
to give up. I'm not
Never.
ready to give up. But I predicted that our Pittsburgh Pirates would go to the playoffs, and right now they're struggling a little bit. Even Sweens or Keens was his name. Even the Pitt Skeens is losing. And that's what's on my mind. Hand up over here, guy in the yellow shirt.
Little disclaimer. Smoking Jim didn't learn about baseball until October 11th, 2011. Pittsburgh Sportsline was founded, and we were in football season, so we didn't talk baseball much till the spring. And later on, he was a pitcher and everything else. He doesn't know baseball. He only learned hockey by listening to what we talked about for 5 years.
Well, in May, I'm up for the Willie Starger Award. Maybe it's somebody to see me play baseball in Legion Ball or Pony League.
Well, tell me who your coach was. And
he was white.
And name one of the pitchers.
He was white.
All right, I have to say it, and people may not like it, but the disclaimer, he's a black man, and he's not racist. And anybody that has a dispute with him, if you contact me personally, I'll give you his phone number. It's text only.
He used to take me to get Dairy Queen after all my wins.
Guess what? You never went. You never went. Do you know what a blizzard is? Do you know what a blizzard
I used
is?
to get the cones with the jimmies on it. They named it after me. They see me pitch and they named them jimmies.
Well, this reminds me of a story with a former superintendent at Bethel Park High School, Dr. J. We won't mention his name.
My guy.
And I said, hey, my co-host is Smoking Jim Frazier. He goes, you mean Little Jimmy? So then I looked in the pictures. I saw Urkel. He had big glasses, and he weighed about 111 pounds. And I saw Little Jimmy's pictures. And we're going to move on from that. That's a little sidebar entertainment. On the biggest day for those two at the table, draft day, I'm sort of with Linda that the first day of the draft is my favorite, only because I like to see who the Steelers pick so I can talk about them. Because I don't really know much about the draft. I try to follow it. And I'm a Mel Kiper fan because he created it.
Yes, sir.
But I checked his record, and he gets about 10% correct.
I do 97%.
I know. That's why he's bragging, and Mel Kiper's a legend. He's making something called money. Smoking Jim ain't making no money, even gambling. But, all right, we got to move on. What's on your mind, Michael Rohde?
Well, you said it. This is the big week, huh?
I'm happy for that side of the table, folks. Way to go.
So I'll get to the draft in a minute, but I want to ask Jim a question. So hypothetically, you go to a used car dealer.
Yes, sir.
Right? You walk in, see a bunch of cars. They're all got some mileage on them.
I want a pre-dip.
They're all like, they're all like, iffy. I don't. None of them you really are interested in at all whatsoever, right? You're like, okay, am I going to get one of those, or am I going to drive the old Honda? It's behind my house. It's very serviceable.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do? You're going to go get the Honda, right?
I don't drive foreign cars.
Hey, Michael, I got to
work with me,
Mike. Before you go too deep, you have to ask him one question. What are you willing to pay for a car?
We're getting off subject here. I was trying to make a point.
No, you can't make it with him.
I actually was hoping Nick was going to be here because I wanted to have him relay on to Joe Starkey that he works with at the Fan. And I like Joe a lot. One of my favorite guys. But he's kind of leading the charge in town about how the Steelers have botched this quarterback deal. And so that's why I use my car analogy, right? They're in the position that they're in because they didn't like anybody.
Good point.
They didn't like anybody. Why would they go get somebody? So you know what they did? They went and got the Honda. They went and got Mason Rudolph. They're like, we can go with him.
Good point.
If the used, very, very used Lexus pulls up out of the blue, Aaron Rodgers, great. But we'll deal with it from there. But they weren't going to go get any of these guys because they didn't like any of them.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't they get Justin Fields? Because they didn't want Justin Fields. Why didn't they bring back Russell Wilson? Because they didn't want him. Sam Darnold. They didn't want any of these guys. So, quarterbacks that wish they just fell out of the sky, but unfortunately they don't, right? They took a shot with Pickett a couple of years ago. I think everybody knew, probably even them, that it was a stretch. It's not like 15 years ago when you signed a rookie quarterback, you drafted one number one, and they're the highest paid guy on your team.
Right.
And and if they don't hit, it sets your franchise back 5 years. That's not the case now. Thanks to the last couple of CBAs. So they moved on from him, and they've been trying to plug it away. But it'd be great if they just, and it's not in their DNA to tank. It just isn't. And even if you did, or if you trade way up, you end up with a Trey Lance. You just don't know. So they're going to see what's happening. So I wanted to pass on to Nick to tell Joe, just relax. It's all going to be fine. The Steelers know what they're doing. They're not in the disastrous state that everybody thinks they are. I think they're going to see where these chips are going to fall in the next couple of days. I think with Aaron Rodgers, they're not looking like idiots. They're like, if you're Aaron, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. We're not going to count on it. Whatever. Personally, I don't think he's coming. He didn't sound to me like when he was on McAfee like a guy who was really getting ready and raring to play.
He wants to go to Minnesota with a Super Bowl.
It just, if anything else, he doesn't want to go to minicamp. So maybe he'll sign in like July.
Listen to the show when I said that. Listen to when I said that on the show.
You did.
And Michael, thanks for your insights on it. And just so you know, in the future, don't try to use metaphors or examples with Smoking Jim Frazier.
Well, Nick wasn't here. I had to. He had to be the guy that I laid it on.
You would have been better, go with John O'Prasak's painting, because he's going to disagree with whatever you're trying to.
Steelers would be so further along if they'd have stuck with Duck. Duck was something else, man. I've never seen a quarterback
with who?
Duck Hodges. I've never seen a This is leadership. I've never seen a quarterback have the whole team go out duck hunting. This guy, he was Pied Piper, bro. He could lead a team.
Smoking Jim, I'll give you credit.
You see the girlfriend he got, or his wife. Ooh,
Laney.
She's country wrestler.
She's
and I love
a
me some
record
country
style. You don't even know what song she said, except she had a song that I didn't like that became famous because my son Drew listens to country, Heart Like a Truck. Then Chevy used it as their promotion.
Wow.
And he goes, Dad, look how good it is. I go, who in their right mind thinks you have a heart like a truck? And they made millions on it. So what do I know? And even with sports, I don't know much, but I know Smoking Jim was an NFL scout, Steelers scout. Then he made some of the most outrageous statements. Some of them are true. He said Duck's one of the greatest quarterbacks he met. And I had a simple question then, because, I like to be analytical, Mike. I go, why didn't any other team sign him?
The Rams did for a cup of coffee.
Right. Then why didn't anybody else? Chance got a comment to make.
Because he's getting old, man.
He said he's getting old. He wasn't old.
Who Duck is?
I think I had a better arm than he did.
Well, that's a good point. But nobody else wanted him after we got rid of him, and he got a country girlfriend that's a star.
There you go.
And he may be a leader of men.
We were all that lucky.
Like Smoking Jim's the anti-leader of men, because look what he suggests. Then he got to leave the show 30 seconds after we're done. So who's going to follow him? We won't even leave the studio.
Can I give you my draft to
Yes.
scout? Okay, so after lots of analytics, here's what we're gonna do. This is my mock draft. I know we're all sick of mock drafts. Bear with one more. So they're gonna stay put. First of all these quarterbacks, the top three aren't even gonna be there, I don't think. And I'll say this: any of these quarterbacks would not even be first-round draft picks last year, right? So anybody who's going in the first round this year is probably second.
Draft.
Exactly.
What I said he should
That
have
one
been
was the
drafted
wor-
in the first round.
That
The
one
only
was
in
amazingly
Pittsburgh.
bad. This one is a little bit better, but
I was the only media guy in Pittsburgh saying that.
all the first rounders should be second, all the seconds should be third, and on and on and on. That said,
I
don't
like
think,
their style. I got to agree with Michael.
I don't
Brody.
think any of the guys are going to be there though, so they won't be tempted. So
I don't expect we're getting them.
you got to go with defensive tackle. I got Derek Harmon. My list is a little bit of what I would do, and who I think will be there.
From Oregon?
From Oregon.
Hold it. What about
Defensive
Kent Graham
tackle.
from Michigan?
I
big.
like this guy better. I think he's got more upside.
That's who I like, Kent Graham.
Yeah. Hey, listen, they're going to get a tackle here. Whether it him,
I'm with
they're going
let
to
me
get a
announce
tackle
on Pittsburgh Sportsline. I don't follow the draft much, but I was focusing on the draft pick. We're not getting Shador, so I figure Kent Graham from Michigan. Look at his stats and look at his size.
I'm with it. It's going to be a defensive tackle.
Okay.
Second round, we got our
I agree
receiver.
with Michael Rohde.
No problem there. Third round, my third favorite running back, DJ Giddens, Kansas State. I like him. Omar Hampton, but I actually like Caleb Johnson from Iowa the best.
Ooh.
But he won't be there in the third round. Fourth round, Savion Williams, TCU, huge upside, huge receiver, played shotgun or wildcat quarterback.
Wow.
Incredibly versatile, a lot of upside again. So, quarterback. Here's where I go quarterback. I went back and forth on Dylan Gabriel from Oregon.
I love
okay? He does not have a great arm. That's okay. Neither did Drew Brees. You know what Drew Brees did? He threw guys open. He didn't need to throw. He didn't need to wait and run around. He threw. He knew right where the guy was going to go.
He
He's
could lead
deadly
him.
accurate.
He could
He's
throw a
deadly
lead
accurate. He knows
pass,
where they're
yeah.
going to be. He can read a defense. That's the kind of guy. It's worth a shot in the fifth round, even if it's a bust. He'll be there in 5, I think. Offensive tackle in the 6th round, Caleb Rogers, Texas Tech. Offensive tackle, I think you need a little backup, just in case. And then I'm going to do a little luxury pick in the 7th round. I'm going to go with Trevor Etienne.
Wow,
Running back from Georgia. He's diminutive, he's tiny, but he's lightning fast.
His brother.
He's faster than his brother. Probably not a better overall back than his brother, but he's lightning fast out of the backfield. I think he'd really be something. I just want to see him go with offense. So defensive in the first round. The rest is all offense up and down the board.
Hey, Mike, we have our disagreements in the past. I'm a yes man tonight.
All right.
Because I don't study the draft a bit, and I know you stay up at night to do it. So I salute you on your analysis, and I hate to disappoint you, but the Steelers aren't going to do that.
What do you think they're going to do?
The opposite of most of what you said.
I think they're going to take a defensive tackle regardless. None of those quarterbacks
Well, I'm
are
picking
going
a
to be
defensive tackle. I told you my pick, Kent Graham.
I don't think, even if one of those quarterbacks are there, I don't think they'll take him. I think they're still feeling burned from Pickett. They're gun shy with it. If it's not a slam dunk, they're not going to go round one. I honestly think, in a bizarro, crazy way, they're comfortable with Mason Rudolph for a year.
Here, how could
And
they
I don't
not
think
be?
Aaron Rodgers can win that many more games than Mason Rudolph can. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, you're going back to the Ralph Kiner days when he was winning the home run awards. They could still lose 100. Well, we can still be 9-8, which isn't great.
Lot more quarterbacks coming out next year.
Well,
so
that's what they're saying
what
next
happens.
year, and we got a bunch of picks next year.
Every one of them is a stretch this year. I don't think I'd go with it. I would get the guy in the 5th round, whether it's Gabriel, Kyle McCord, Syracuse, something like that.
How about the boy from Texas?
Last year he should have come out. He probably would have been a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And
What if he goes back to that level?
who knows? I mean, he's all of these guys are just total crapshoots this year. I mean, they're always crapshoots, let's face it, but these ones especially. Like I said, I don't think, even Cam Ward, I don't think is a true first-round slam dunk quarterback.
Hey, Mike, you're confirming why I don't study the draft.
Because of all the time I'm wasting doing it. There you go.
I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Hey, it's fun. Hey, going back to 7th grade, my dearly beloved mother's on the television there. Poor woman, going back to like 6th grade. This is back when the draft was on like noon on a Wednesday.
Uh-oh, Mom, don't
right?
listen.
And I was like, Mom, I really don't feel
don't
good.
listen.
Oh, I really don't feel good today. She didn't have
Peggy.
any idea. She
Peggy.
figured it out right about my senior year.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah,
But I don't like Cam Ward at all.
I don't see that much special about him. Like I said, he'd be a 2nd round pick last year. They all would be.
If there was 12 rounds in the draft, I wouldn't take him.
Well, unless it's Smoking Jim's pick, he's total negative. We've had
I'm honest. I'm an honest man.
we've had so many other picks that he didn't like that are stars on teams, but he didn't pick them, and he's still 97% correct.
Can you give me an example?
I prefer not to,
Okay.
because you'll still say you're 97.8. And I'm not even correct on the drafts. I don't even know what day it is, but I got invited to a party, so I'm going. First time ever, a draft party.
Where at?
I'll tell you after the show, but you only got 10 seconds. Shout out to Peggy Rohde. Hello to everyone. What a handsome panel enjoying the show from Rochester, New York. Nick and Peggy, our biggest fans in Rochester. Chief is watching. Ralph Williams is watching. Hello, guys. And Chief McElroy said, love Rajan's pick. He has a giant wingspan and is huge.
It's huge.
Here, Tony from Chick-fil-A. Defense wins games. Look at last year's Super Bowl. Offense did too. It was like 24-0. Did you miss those touchdowns, Tony from Chick-fil-A? Sorry to say that. I like my man. We just saw him a couple weeks ago. Bob Ridgway is watching. He always likes to interact with us. All right. Al, what's on your mind? I'm not anti-draft, all right? I just don't study it. And I watch Mel Kiper all the time to see who we're not going to pick. And I've been 100% right on that because it's unbelievable. And I like watching ESPN for them debating all this and giving all these reasons. And then I wonder, are they going to be right or wrong, or are they going to be as accurate as 97.8 Smoking Jim? And I appreciate it, like all the hard work Mike does, because he's been into it over half of his life, 3/4. So he does know this, and I agree with him. My pick when I go to the draft party, Kent Graham, our first-round pick. That's what I'm going with, because we need a Casey Hampton type guy. And if you got a guy 340 pounds, in high school I was 195, I had to go against 250 to 300.
Wow.
And my shoulders got ruined by the end of the year because I kept thinking I could go through the brick wall. And I'm only human. So I witnessed it firsthand. So I know if somebody's big, how do you move him? If he falls down in a hole, that's taking 2 blockers. So little things like that. And as far as quarterbacks, look at all these pro offenses you have in college and how many stars you have. They don't have the size, they got the speed, some got an arm, some don't. How many of them are starting quarterbacks in their first year?
Good point.
And you only see a few. And look at C.J. Stroud, great first year. What do they watch? A lot of film. And they stopped him a little bit in the second year and he needed help. Then look at what happened with the Commanders and Jalen there. Yeah. And he's saying he's going to improve and try not to do the tendencies that he had. There's a smart young man. And that's what they look for. You know, everybody with technology and the phones, look at iPhones. I can do all the things and see who's watching the show, right? Before I never knew. I knew you're out there watching us on TV, Verizon 32, Comcast 21. And we appreciate you all there. But you enjoy the game of football like I do, and I've watched it my whole life. They've changed the rules to make it a more offensive game. And then look at the problems we have with an offense. So what did the Steelers do with an Art Smith offense when we got rid of Najee? Mike's happy he's gone, and I'm happy he made $9.5 million. And look at what we have to do. We're going to trust Jalen for being our running back, and
they're going to bring in somebody else.
He came in, and I've watched it. I don't know if you can correct me, Mike, or anybody, but he came in on passing plays, and a lot of the times he gained yards. Then they mixed them up with some plays and gave him the ball, and he gained yards. Then other times he got knocked down at the line or in the backfield. Now, he doesn't have the size. He has some speed, but how do you get the speed if they're in the backfield? Just little things like that. So we need help. Maybe that rookie we might get that you're saying, he might be a long shot. Maybe he could be a winning shot. And we're always hopeful. Like me, I sort of don't like the draft, but the first round I always watch it just to see who's taking it, those great quarterbacks, great running backs. What about that Genty from, what was it, Washington?
Boise
State.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he going to go? I've seen him, and, you know.
Bust.
He looks like a big. He looks like a big, healthy
Genty?
guy.
He's bust. You heard it here first.
Wow.
That's why I'm bringing it
I
up.
put him at 7th or 8th running back.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll make it in the NFL as a running
He'll,
back?
he'll make it. He'll be a split. He'll be like Reggie Bush. You know, everybody thought.
Really? You're putting him in
he'll-
Reggie Bush
half,
category.
Half the time.
Would you
Good
go
third
with
down
me
back.
when he
Not
goes
complete.
to Canton? You gonna go-
I'll go with
It's
you
a
if you're
date.
buying. If you're treating, I'm going.
It's a date.
Well, the way you drive, I might take an Uber. But no, I just wanted to bring that up with my opinions. Hey, I salute all of you that are into the draft and you're all gung-ho with what the Steelers need. But I go by this. They're a billionaire team, and they hire coaches to do what we're talking about. And then I just want to talk about what they have and what they do with it. And you'll have to wait for my insights on who, what, when, where, and somebody's going to start.
You're in the minority.
I respect that. In this case, I don't want to be in the majority because I sleep like a baby at night. I'm not worried about whether my picks are correct or not. Kent Graham, defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. All right. We got Fiction and Fact with Smokin' Jim's Almanac, 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Chance, the closest thing to Bruce Lee I know. Beautiful Linda's here.
Tell him where he works out at.
My main
Tell
man,
him where he works
my
out at.
main man, Marco's here. And I tell you what, the guy that can build the best hoagie this side of southwestern Pennsylvania, Mikey, is back there. Anybody else in the control room? Just Mikey and Marco?
There's a ghost in there.
Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
You missed Chance.
Last year, the Steelers and everybody else blew it when I told them the pick was Cooper DeJean. I believe in
Did.
players with,
You were right, 100% on that.
yeah. Thank you, Al Levine, the talking machine.
I don't give
believe
you
in
credit
players-
much, 100%.
I believe in players with position flexibility. You know, I've been trying to get a white cornerback in the NFL in 30 years.
He's not racist.
Cooper DeJean goes to the combine. Everybody tries to make him play safety. He says, I'm a cornerback. So 90% of the NFL teams backed off. Not only did this guy win the Super Bowl, score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but Pro Football Focus rated him the #1 cornerback in all of football, even ahead of Surtain that won the defensive MVP. So Al Levine, the talking machine.
And what's all that mean?
In the first round this year, listen, I don't know where this guy's supposed to go on the board.
Why
I
not?
brought him up last year that I love white players with black names.
Here he goes
This
again,
guy's-
folks.
Like Mike says, the Pittsburgh Steelers need a defensive lineman because for the last
We all agree.
last about 15 that they draft, they all been bums. Al Levine, the talking machine, they got to go to Nebraska, get a guy that's 6'6", 310 pounds.
My guy's 340.
Runs a 4.7 40, and here's what:
My guy's
if you can't
4'4".
get a guy to play your guy's only going to play 30% of the snaps. My guy can play every down.
I don't care, but they're good snaps.
Yeah, that's true. Snacks, good snacks. Al Levine, the
Snaps.
talking machine. If you can't get another philosophy of mine,
Uh-oh, he's
I'm
mixing
giving you
it up.
guys all this for free. I usually charge for this.
I have $1. I got
Another
$1.
thing is effort, Al Levine, the talking machine. If you're going 100% every single play, and usually you don't see that until the playoffs or the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's why the defenses look so good, because they're finally giving effort, all 11 guys. If you give effort, there's going to be 5 plays a game that you can make. You're going to sack the quarterback, put pressure on the quarterback, create a fumble, make him throw an interception, get a tackle for loss.
How do you know
This
that?
guy is an all-out effort guy. His name is Ty Robinson. The Pittsburgh Steelers better not pass on him. But you know the Pittsburgh Steelers love bloodlines.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if late round. You guys ever hear of a guy, former first-round draft choice named Mark Bruner?
Sure. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. His kids playing.
His son's a linebacker, Carson Bruner. They might bring him in. There's a local kid out of University of Pittsburgh. He played at one of these little little in and out high schools around here to play a little intramural ball.
Gateway.
I think it was
Gateway.
I think
Gateway.
I forget the name of the
Gateway.
little high school.
Gateway.
Little high school.
Gateway.
Donovan McMillan. I think he went to the same high school as Wayne Caper's son. I forget what that high school is. Maybe Vatrone went there too. One of them schools. But Donovan McMillan is a good size safety for Pitt. Runs a 4.4 40.
How tall is he?
He's strong, 6'1".
Okay.
You know, the
Just
Steelers may
checking.
get him in the 7th, 8th round. L. Levine, the Taka machine. And my number one wide receiver might be there in the 3rd round. He's white. His name is Jack Beach
TCU.
from TCU. His brother was the one that was killed in New Orleans. This is a calm back catch guy. You got to have a guy that's going to come in and push George Pickens. Pickens will be on the team this year, but this is a guy that can come in and push George, and the Steelers can make a decision whether they can let him go or stay.
They're going to let him
Or
go.
have-
Tomlin didn't like when he talked about Alabama being better than his coaching.
Will the Steelers get a 3rd round draft choice?
Yeah,
if
that's
he
what they're
goes?
going to do. It's my prediction for you.
L. Levine, the Taka machine. So
Just thought I'd predict something.
that's just a couple of guys to keep your eye out for. But Ty Robinson.
Can you
at the
spell that?
Pittsburgh- T-Y.
Okay.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers picking, get excited, L. Levine, the Taka machine.
One
we
question.
got another Aaron Smith.
Did Gateway ever give you spelling tests?
No.
Okay.
No.
We clarified that. Thank you.
Only thing I remember in high school is passing typing. I never thought I'd get through it, L. Levine. I was the only guy in the room, L. Levine, and they made me learn. But that's the only class I remember taking in my 4 years of high. I had a lot of study halls.
Smoking Jim. I had to take typing too. I was a sophomore at Keystone Oaks, and I had to take typing, and I was good at it. I was doing 60 words a minute, and the teacher goes, "You could be a good secretary." I wanted to be an architectural engineer.
Well, this one pretty girl in
60
school,
words a minute.
This one real pretty girl in school, she flexed on me. She was taking economics, right? I never
Her
heard
brain
of,
flexed
I
on
never
you.
heard of economics. I says, I think I'm taking that too. She said, no, you're taking economy.
And with that note,
I wonder why my book was
All right.
paperback.
You ever hear of exit stage left? We're going to move right to some raging roadie time right now. 10 seconds. Thanks.
I am live.
Look at that raging. All right. Great
So-
Steeler t-shirt.
Yeah, I went full garb. I don't know if you can get the shoes there, but I even got the black.
Take
and
one
gold-
off.
Black and
Hold your
gold
breath
shoes
smoking,
there.
and we'll put one up.
Chance gonna get down. There you go. Got the shoes. I got all the gear on.
Look at
see.
that.
Wow.
See if they get it. Can they get it?
I don't
I
know.
don't see it. That's all right. On the bigger
Oh,
better.
we got
there they
the
go.
There it is. Thank you, control room. All right, get off of there and put his head up.
All right, bigger and better things. So, listen, I think the rage time is a good, and I really did not want to talk about this team, but I think I have to because it's so frustrating. I think we've hit
Can you switch
rock
shirts
bottom.
and do that? Get a new shirt for him.
I don't want to wear anything that has the Pirates on it.
Oh.
And you know what? Speaking of disclaimers, let me say, I am not a Pirate hater. I'm a Pirate fan. I'm a Pittsburgh
You love the
Pirates
Pirates.
fan. Love the Pirates. Always have, always will. I have tried, believe me, to like other teams.
Go ahead and rate
And
it.
I just can't do it.
All right.
Because that's your team, right? So, it's bad enough that the league is what it is with haves and have-nots. But when you have an owner before the season starts get up there and say, I've done everything I possibly can for this team. Now it's time for execution. When everything they can consists of signing Tommy Pham, Adam Frazier. Some of these names that they're bringing up there with their 112 batting averages. It's just astounding to me. Like, what did they think?
Well, you heard of the Mendoza line. We only have 2 guys batting 250.
It's amazing.
They're all
And-
under 200.
And their philosophy is they
Had to
want a
put
straight
that in.
gold. They
Sorry
want a
to
straight
interrupt.
gold here, and that's okay. They want a straight gold here and there. I get it, but when you sign guys like Brian Hayes, Brian Reynolds, who are decent players, and O'Neal Cruz is a good player, probably like one step with a lot of potential, but they're not team carriers, right? There's only a handful of those guys who can really. They need other guys around them, but you spread those guys in the lineup, you got somebody batting 220, and then the next guy's hitting 112. They won't turn the page from. I mean, I'm sorry, Henry Davis is a bust. If that guy can't make this team, I'm sorry, he ain't making any team.
Right.
And this is his third chance in the bigs, and they're not even playing him. They're not even putting him in.
What's that tell you?
They've got this guy. What's his name? The guy Canario. That was a cast off from 3 other teams. I think has 1 hit this year.
What are we paying him?
I don't know. Probably nothing.
That's why we got him.
Probably kibbles and bit scraps from the dog pound.
I know animals like kibbles.
It's really we're really at rock bottom low. When we went to the and
you're going to the games and supporting them.
I did. I took Marco. What do you want for your birthday? We're going to go to a game. Took Chance. Took Michael. Took Chance's dad. We had a good time.
Except y'all got
they
burnt.
came back in the bottom. Yeah,
Y'all
I
got burnt.
sunburned.
Look
I
at
didn't
that
put sunscreen
tan.
on.
Well, look at
They
Chance.
came back in the bottom of the ninth, but of course they lost the game. But
at least it was exciting.
But it's so frustrating. I'm sitting there most of the game seeing guys walk up to the plate with like 115 batting averages, and all I could see in my head was Nutting saying, "I've done all I can do." All he could do was sign Tommy Pham.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just astounding to me. Now,
And how old is he?
I think 104.
Yeah.
But you throw on top of that, you've got clearly a team. Where are these guys in the minor leagues? Apparently, they don't have anybody that's really ready. It's like
Good
it's been
points.
6 years, so they've got nothing there. And then you've got the Bricks fiasco. You've got the Clemente Wall fiasco. You had that bobblehead fiasco on Saturday. This team can't do anything.
Well, you didn't even
right.
mention
What
how
happened
about
with the
Skeen's comments.
What happened with the bobblehead?
What they did, they first of all, me and Mark are watching it on television. They had people lined up across the bridge and down, Fort Duquesne Boulevard,
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
to get in because they said they were only going to give so many bobbleheads.
20,000.
So by doing that, they caused this absolute mess. So they're victim of their own success. Now, to their credit, they said everybody's going to get it because can you imagine 10,000 people waiting in line and they say sorry, we're out. But just the fact that they said everybody's going to get them means that they had them. And they were just going to sit on them.
That made
for the
it
next
worse.
time. Made it worse.
Yeah.
So was that the game you were at?
No, we went on Sunday. Thank God I didn't go down and stand in line. I'd have lost my mind if I'd have gone down there and saw a line across the bridge. I'd have been like, I would have gladly forsaken that money and said, let's get back on the train and go back home.
Hey, I just
no
want,
way
I
for
just
a
want,
Steeler game or for a Pirate game? Are you kidding me?
Michael, I just want Marco to take a picture when that happens because we'll put it up to replace Raging.
God bless Marco. He is he's a diehard.
Yeah.
He is a diehard, and God bless him. I'm jaded, and there's no end in sight because, first of all, who's going to want to come here and be the GM for this team? So they're going to have to get an assistant or an assistant of an assistant next time. No one's going to
Or
want
a
to come and
coffee
manage
boy like
this team.
Smoking Jim said the coaches aren't the Steelers, a coffee guy.
Nobody's going to want to come and do it, and it's a bad organization. There's back and forth about how much money did they make? Did they lose money? It's worth $1 billion. So don't tell me they're not making money hand over fist if they could sell it for $1 billion. Right? So they're making a ton of money.
Mike, you
The
went so
owner
deep.
is just an
He don't
absolute-
understand you. Smoking don't understand
He's a
you on
total
that.
carpetbagger. And everywhere, by the way, everywhere you go in the stadium is Wiggle Whiskey. That's his side project. Nutting owns Wiggle Whiskey, so you see that everywhere. And it is an absolute, it's a cash cow. It's a cash cow. Well, I should say, I even said this before. I said, you're used to seeing 9,000 people or less crowds in
Yeah.
August. It's April.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that. Okay, you can't have a bobblehead every night, right? It was. I think they've had 5 or 6 home games with less than 9 people, less than 9,000 people. Who would go to this? Who would go? You know, I read an article today that why aren't they playing Andrew McCutchen? Think about that. Why aren't we playing a 37-year-old guy who's so far past his prime? And God bless him, he's decent for a DH once in a while. But when you're clamoring for Andrew McCutchen, you know you've got problems. You know, they won't give up on Sawinski, and they bring in this Canario. I don't even know where they got him. It is a tragic mess. It really is, with no end in sight, as long as this guy's running the place.
Hey, I appreciate your comments. We all feel similar to that. Ann Harder said, listen to Smokin' Jim on 1250 AM radio on Saturday.
Oh, thank you.
Carol Pizzo's watching. David Price is watching. Chip Hayner's watching. Jane Leffler said, as a team, the Pirates really suck. All right, we got that out of our systems there.
Chip, I wish you could have made it. I'd love to do a debate of the Pirates with you.
Chip's been a little disappointed, too, with the effort of the players and things like that, so we have covered that. Well, we got to go to On Location in 10 seconds. It'll be short. I'm on. Yeah, we had a little discussion that we got a lot of time left in my On Location's 10 seconds. We have nothing on location right now. Stay tuned for a future On Location. And I wanted to open it up to open sports discussion. If you want to talk hockey, if you want to talk NBA playoffs, anything like that that caught your eye, you know.
Ovechkin caught my eye.
Well, we know how Smokin' Jim only discovered hockey through Pittsburgh Sportsline. He may have seen a goal or two, and he loved Yager with the strip clubs and gambling and, you know, driving real fast.
Chance brought up a good point about the game, the Pirates game we went to on Sunday. It was half Cleveland fans. Wow. If more than half, yeah. Wow. I mean, there was more cheers. You thought you were in the Cleveland Stadium. Wow. If they weren't there, 4,000 people.
Who got the nicer stadium? I always debated that because I've been in Cleveland Stadium.
I have never been there.
Pirate Stadium.
I haven't been to
for
it
for 3 innings each, and I can't.
Well, PNC Park is fantastic.
So it's Cleveland.
Yeah, I heard it's really nice.
Beautiful.
They were all a part of that 20-year-old thing. They put the first one was the Baltimore Stadium. Then they did the Cleveland Stadium.
Yeah, they want to make them like old school but modern.
Atlanta and Pirates got theirs, and they're all wonderful stadiums. They're great.
Yeah.
But it's.
I used to like Three Rivers for baseball.
I'd never liked Three Rivers for baseball.
It was the worst.
I loved it for football. I liked it better.
Hey, Mike, don't
than
go
Heinz Field for football.
Don't go
without
too
question.
deep. He only liked it because it was good for football.
I
went to games at Three Rivers for baseball, I thought that's the worst stadium.
It was the worst.
We had some championship teams, so
yeah.
I appreciated that.
I was there for Clemente's 3,000 hit, so it brings back memories.
Well, guess what? I was in a box with my brother-in-law, and a baseball came in over our heads. I caught it one bounce off the wall.
Did you?
And I gave it to my nephew. Yeah, Michael. I gave him the baseball.
Get that back.
Why? You know you can buy a baseball for about $10.
Not that one.
But I gave it away, so wow. I did have that. No, we all got history, and look at all the wins the Steelers had, Super Bowl years, and everything else at Three Rivers. And
so you liked it for baseball too?
For Three Rivers was
you missed it. It was the worst because there were sites you couldn't see the game, and it was just terrible.
PNC is a great place. There's not a bad seat.
Yeah.
I've been in a bunch of different seats before I'm on my protest with not going to the games, just personally.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
as much as you love baseball?
Well, that's why I love it.
I wouldn't be going if Marco's like, Dad, come on, let's go. Like,
well, you got to. He's only 18 months.
I know.
He's soon to be 19.
I know. So I humor him. Next Saturday.
Wow.
This Saturday coming up.
How many birthdays he get a year?
1.
7 or 8, as far as I can tell.
Seems like it was just his birthday.
I know, seriously.
Next Saturday. Happy birthday, Marco.
You going to get him a hoagie or something?
He's a senior. He's a senior, right?
Yeah, he's a senior.
Yeah. Hey, he's on our Levine team in Pittsburgh Sportsline, so he's making us look good here. We appreciate it.
Hey, one thing I wanted to mention. We talked about this before the game, and I was
We got
looking,
11 minutes, so you can get wordy on us.
I was looking through things. We like I said, we talked about this before. There's a lot of these insiders. Because there's so many floating heads. There's so many people with podcasts. There's so many internet there's so many.
I heard there's over
Twitter
300 or
accounts.
400 million podcasts.
They have to come up with something about the
400
draft,
million.
and they talk about how insiders say this and insiders say that. But it always amazes me that they always end up being wrong, and it always amazes me how easily they're duped. I'm not even sure they're duped, but they hear the little tiniest thread of something somewhere, and everybody jumps on it.
Well, in this day
Because
and age,
there's so many hours to fill, they have to.
with all the clickbait and the ratings and all this
Yeah.
other stuff, people just do it. We have it locally. Look what they talk about. Some of it you don't even want to listen to.
You know, you're right. Absolutely, locally, people say, "Oh, insiders are hearing that. I'm hearing this. I'm hearing that," and they all turn out to be completely right. Not even close. Not even close.
Well,
So
look what I did on
just
the
look at
Aaron
some
Rodgers
chatter with
saga. I said a couple months ago that he's going to delay it, not to even be with OTAs, not to be with preseason.
That's what's going to happen. If he comes,
And-
it's going to be after OTAs because he didn't even go to the Jets OTAs.
Well, that's what I was saying, that
Yeah.
it's going to happen, and yet we got people like, why isn't there a deadline with them? Well, it'll be the season when it starts.
I am intrigued to see him if he does come. Like I said, I was convinced he was until I heard that interview. He just did not sound like a guy who was very motivated to.
And that's on Pat
play at
McAfee's
all.
show.
Yeah, but I have to admit, I'm very, very intrigued with what he could do with the firepower. And I don't hold the Jets against him. People say, oh, this and that against the Jets. My rationale is they're like, well, he got better. He put up more numbers towards the second half of the season last year.
Well, he might have healed up a little.
Exactly, because it was against bad teams. I say that he was out for a whole year. When you're 42, it takes a while to come back from injury.
Yeah.
So I don't hold. Plus, they're the Jets. That's where players go to die. I can't wait to see what a disaster
Well, what have they
they're gonna
done
be with
since?
Justin
What have they
Fields.
done since Joe Namath?
Pretty much nothing.
Thank
the
you.
only one who ever got him anywhere was Parcells and Rex Ryan. Made him decent in
Well,
the
let
last
me ask
30
you.
years.
Let me ask you two this. And
Thanks for including
By the
me.
way, for those that tuned in, McAfee got choked out last night on Monday Night Raw.
He
I
may have-
enjoyed it.
You
I
know what?
enjoyed that.
I don't know if you guys know, but it's all scripted.
Well, he sure turned pink. But
That's in the script, and they're well trained to choke them out and to choke.
Al Levine, the talking
Go ahead.
machine, and Mike, and I think you guys were both kind of alluding to this because Linda brought it up.
Where'd you get that
I
word?
know. I've been waiting to put it in at the right.
It's an A word. He's got the
I
dictionary
heard that
out.
in economy. But Al Levine, the talking machine. I know that as a fan, you want the Steelers to keep the first round pick. Now, would you trade back?
In a second, because
Okay.
in a second, because
but
I
still
think
stay in the first round?
I would maybe even go if I could get 2 picks in the second round for the number one for their first round pick. I would definitely do it because I think the people it's so deep with
Is
defensive
that
linemen.
fair to the fans though that's watching on TV?
Me
Fans
and
don't know
Linda will
what's
be
best for 'em. It doesn't
disappointed.
matter.
I got to lump Linda
What
in
happens
with me.
on Sundays is what matters, right? So
Hey, Smoking Jim, here's the trade that's going to happen. They're trading T.J. Watt for 2 first-round
Don't say
picks.
that. Don't say that. They would
And
never
guess
take
what?
T.J.
We're
Watt.
taking them for 2 first-round picks, 1 first round this year, 1 first round second year when we get our quarterback.
Always remember this, Mike. There's 350 starting defensive players in the National Football League. T.J. Watt been top 5 his whole career.
But-
you don't trade
but
that. You
what-
don't trade
what did he
that.
win?
Leave it to the
Do you trade Joe Green? He's better than Joe
leave
Green.
I'd
it to
have
the
traded him
Browns.
after
leave
4
it to
Super
the
Bowls.
Browns to screw it all up when they gave Myles Garrett $40 million a year. Are
Well,
you going to
don't
give a
think
defense?
You wouldn't give T.J. Watt $40 million?
No way. No
Hold it.
chance.
Smoking
The
Jim.
listen. The only person who's worth it. I'm making it all relative, right? Is a quarterback who has the ball.
Quarterback's worth
Well,
60.
the cap keeps going up, so somebody's got to make that money. But I'm saying, as far as moving your money around, there's no way I'd give it to a part-time defensive player. Part-time, he spends half the time on the bench. when
Great
they're on
points.
defense.
Smoking Jim. Remember Cam Hayward?
He didn't have no 22 sacks.
Remember Cam Hayward
Yeah,
when he
he
got
left
his
Gateway.
last
He left
contract?
Monroeville in the middle
Yeah,
of the night.
well,
Yeah, I remember that.
when he got his contract for $30-some million, what did you say? Should have never signed him for that.
Yeah.
What has he done since? They talk about him on ESPN and the NFL games, how good he is.
Well, we're talking about
now.
Hall
What
of
age?
Famer.
No, but
Hayward
wait.
ain't no Hall of Famer.
No, but what age is he? He was over 30 when he signed that.
You don't think Craig Hayward?
Huh?
He hates him.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about.
You talking about Cam?
Cam.
No.
You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
I don't know where you're coming from.
That table's finally disagreeing. I knew I
know. We're usually
Got
watching
a Hall
over
of
here.
Fame gut. Listen, now everybody knows I hate Cam and his brother.
Why?
Because they snuck out of Monroeville. We had plans for them at Gateway. And they snuck out and went to Atlanta like thieves in the middle of the night. Didn't contact me at all. So, but if you don't have 100 sacks, you can't get in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's like look,
went
it's not all about it's the Hines Ward reasoning, right? I mean,
Hines Ward deserves to
wasn't
go.
just
Hines Ward deserves to go.
but not
There's
just
too
because
many
of him
Steelers
catching
in.
balls, because of what an overall football player that guy was.
Yes.
But back to T.J. Watt. Don't get me wrong, I love Watt, but if you have to put that many resources,
55
this is why the
minutes.
Browns
What
are the
time does
Browns.
he
This
want
is
me to
why the
end?
Browns are
58 or
always bad
59?
because they make these horrible
Okay.
decisions. Deshaun Watson,
That's what I had said
Garrett,
originally.
They're never going to be good.
Thank
They're
you,
just
Lincoln.
not. They're the Browns, the Jets, the Cardinals. There's a handful of teams who make calls like
Do you
that.
think Kenny Pickett will start this year for the Browns?
God, I hope so. And right here. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
He coached the Pittsburgh spring game. He did a good job.
I said it was me, you, and Nick. We all predicted before Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, before they're even on the team. I predicted Mason Rudolph. We're all going to be right. It's just taking a little bit of time.
Yeah.
He's going to be starting for the Steelers. So yeah, nothing would make me happier than seeing Kenny Pickett come in here and start for the Steelers. And he'd probably light it up for like 400 yards. I sense
wearing
it.
a
It'd be
Super
game
Bowl
of
ring.
his
He'd be
career.
wearing a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
If he can get it on a small finger.
What theater that would be? I mean, that would just
He
be
that might
absolutely
fall off his
fantastic.
finger. Come on, don't be bringing Pickett up here. Smoking, you're so mean-spirited. I can't believe you. And then Cam Hayward is played worth the 30-some million that they spent on him. That was my point. But T.J. Watt has the J.J. Watt disease that after 30 they start to get injured.
JJ's a Hall of
Listen,
Famer.
here's the thing.
Yeah,
if he was
is.
26, I'd say do it. But he's 31. He's going to start breaking down. He only plays half the time.
If he was black, you all would love him.
And you have a competent backup behind him.
I
ready
told
to
people
split.
for years, Lawrence Taylor had 132 sacks, got right into the Hall of Fame. Kevin Green has still got more sacks than any other linebacker in NFL history, 160, and couldn't get in for years.
I can't help it. What happened to the
your
show?
If Kevin Green was
Are
black,
we
he'd have
we
been
still
in
live
first
or
ballot.
what?
It ended 7:59.
Are we out?
Thumbs up, he got it, and then he goes, signal.
Okay, nobody signaled me on it. I got 57:33. That's what I was telling you what
well.
my time was.
I'm marching against reverse.
We could just end the show.
That's
there.
okay. We're stretching for content there at the end anyway.
When you march with me with reverse discrimination?
No.